Hello, everybody. This is me, JD, making another recording. That was my daughter who asked why I'm in trouble now. For you people who think that I'm a liberalist, and because I agree that it's between a man and a woman, their doctor, and their religious leader, and how they feel about abortion, Sam is my answer for abortions. She's 11 years old, going to be 12, and she makes my life. But that ain't what this video is about. This is an economic video to continue on, basically, with the previous two on capitalism 1 and 2. This is what type of societies, first world, second world, third world societies. They're very important in the economic system and have a lot to do with things going on within this country today. Now, this is strictly my interpretation. This is strictly what is happening and why it is happening. This isn't anything about New World Order, Federal Reserve Bank, any of that politician stuff. But the politicians put us extremely in this position. There is basically 3 levels in our world. We had the first order nations, first world economics, second world economics, and third world economics. Now, you don't hear much about the second world economics, but you will hear about it within this video because it's a transition economic state. It's when a nation moves out of the first world, it may move into the second world and then back into the first world, or it may move down to third world. It doesn't go first world, third world. It has to transition. And during that transition, it is in a second world economic. But we're going to talk about the differences between them. First, we'll talk about the ones that most of us enjoyed until our government, thinking about the rest of the world and totally ignoring the people within this country. Thinking about the rich and don't care about the working class. Now, in the first world nations, the working class is rich. The rich are richer. You have a lot of production. Capitalism uses production to create new wealth. By taking wealth, using that wealth for production, you create a product, you sell the product, and you create more than what you need, and you sell to others. And this is how you maintain capitalism, creating new wealth, and maintain a first world economic system. But remove production, and I don't care what excuses they can use, you have a problem. Because when you remove production, you remove creating new wealth. Now, sure, our government says, well, we need to support the rest of the world. Yes, we do need to help the world. But not at the sake of the American citizen's life. The reason we're having this spread between the working class and the rich is because the rich is getting their money from the whole world. They're creating new wealth in other countries. At the same time, they're reducing production within the United States, and thus the working class becomes poorer. Now, what does that produce? When you reduce production, you reduce creating new wealth. reducing creating new wealth, the middle class doesn't get richer. It more or less stays the same. Tries to maintain status quo, while the rich are getting richer by creating new production in different countries throughout the world. Now, what happens is that the government tries to maintain the first world order. By trying to do that, it'll increase social programs and using the taxes from the people to try to maintain and borrow from other nations beyond its capability of paying back. When that happens, the nation has just transferred from first world to second world. We're now in a transition stage. Production declines. Infrastructure starts to decline. Social programs start to increase. The rich and the working class gap separates wider and wider. Poverty level rises. The government tries to maintain status quo by increasing social programs. Whoa, wait a minute. Did I mention status quo earlier? Right. Socialized government starts to increase. Capitalism starts to decrease. Creating new wealth is gone. The government is trying to support an economy it cannot support. It starts borrowing from other nations beyond the country's own means. Now, unless that is turned around while in transition to Second World, the country will slip into Third World status. Now, Third World status, I don't care what kind of economic system you are in terrible shape. Third World status, production is almost gone. You're not creating new wealth. Poverty level is starting to climb extremely. Unemployment starts reaching high levels. Socialism starts being increased because the government is trying to maintain a status quo. Borrowing from other nations gets way out of hand, beyond the point of economic reasoning. The infrastructure starts to totally collapse. In turn, production collapse. In turn, capitalism collapse. Socialism increases to the point of where the government may even have to take over companies. Then we enter a stage of communism. See, that's why socialism tries to maintain the status quo. Now, why am I bringing this up to you? Because the United States is no longer a first world nation. It's a second world. It's in a transition stage. And unless we bring production back into this country, real production, not the little entrepreneurs that make employment, the real heavy hitters, massive production. Unless we bring that production back into the United States, we're going to continue to slide through second world status and may even go to the point of third world, where the government can't even support itself. Where the poverty level is so high, where the rich abandon the nation, where the American dollar becomes a worthless piece of paper throughout the world. put it with the rubles and put it with the other money that isn't worth anything. Where the United States has to borrow from nations knowing it will never be able to pay it back. Just to exist. That's a third world nation. Now, people, I give you these warnings, and I told you what capitalism is about. And I'm telling you, people, we can turn it around. You and me. We can stop this slippage. We are in this second world stage, transitioning from first world to third world, or down and up. All first world nations go through this second world transition many times. In and out, in and out. England's a prime example. You used to be the top of the world, then it slipped into the second world, then it slipped back up. It climbed back up. Russia did the same thing. The Soviet Union, when it transferred from communism to democracy, it slipped down into a transition stage, second world, and it's climbing through now, getting to the first world. China is entering the first world stage, transitioning from a third world nation to the second. It's a transition period they're in. And that's where we are. We're in the same transition period. That's why we all appear equal. But we're slipping down. And that's the problem. We must stop it and turn it around. And the political figures that you see in Washington, D.C. will not do it. They have too many buddies in the upper rich to protect. No. You need a president who money has no value and principles is worth everything. You need a president who cannot lie to you because his word is him. Think of who we got now and how he lies and what his word means throughout the world. It means nothing. I will never allow my word to ever get that way. I tell you this about economies, economic systems, capitalism, socialism, free enterprise, communism, so you understand the problems we are having does not need a politician. That's the worst thing we could have in this country. And understand, we are no longer a first world nation. We are down on the same level as Russia and China. We're level. We're equals. They're transiting through the second world stage. They have come from third world to second world and going to the first. We can either stop it and go back to the first and be up there with everybody, or allow it to slip down, where we'll be dependent upon the world for our products, because we'll be producing nothing in the United States. We will be a service nation where we use, a nation of users and not producers. And when you're not creating wealth and you're using, you're gonna run out of money and become broke. So people, yes, I'm a presidential candidate. Yes, you're going to take a chance on me. Yes, I'm something different than a politician. I'm not a politician. I'm not an economist either. I'm a man who as a child went through garbage cans looking for food. I'm a man who was a foster child in the state of Connecticut. I was a man who joined the Navy and did approximately 26 years. There's construction time in there, so it's somewhere around there. And did a very successful career. And I'm a man who sees my country hurt. And I know together, you and I, we can fix it. I know I can fix it with you, but only with you. When I'm done with my 8 years term, I already got my farewell address. I will tell you, the people, I have given you back your nation that was stolen from you by the political machines within Washington, D.C. Keep it. That is my goal, to give you, the people, back your country. To give you people the prosperity you deserve, as our forefathers seen. Look at what I am saying. Listen to my other videos. You decide. The easiest way to stop Russia from what it's doing in Europe is for the United States to have war games with the Ukraine. Once we have some of our soldiers in there, Russia would not move into the Ukraine. And a war would be averted. But what can I say? We need to have military exercises with the Ukrainian government. And that would stop what's going on in the Ukraine without a shot being fired. But that's neither here nor there. And what do we need for our economy? Production, production, production. We need the rich to reinvest into the United States to produce and create new wealth within the United States, which will then turn this decreasing economic cycle we're in around, and will transfer out of the second world status into first world status. Whereas if this doesn't happen, we will slide into third world status, where the United States has never, ever been. But the political machines are slowly grinding away. And you, that's the worst part, you, each and every one of you, allow it by supporting them. You know that if the Republicans win the Congress, the shape we're going to be in is just as bad as the one we're in right now. And the worst part is the Republicans are going to think it's a victory when it's actually really a defeat for both parties. That the people are so fed up and upset. But what are you going to do? Start thinking JD. Start telling people of JD. Listen to my videos. There's over 600 of them. See what they're about. See what JD's about. Yes, you're going to disagree with me. You better. But as a whole, we're going to all agree. And together, we're going to pull this nation by its bootstraps up out of the mud that the political machines have put us in and make it what the United States should be. And you got to keep it there. That's right. That's why when I say you look at me, you see your future, not mine. I already lived it. Your future. You either turn away from me, go with the political machines, and have stuff go down, down, down. Or we together get our hands dirty and make this nation work for its future, as it should be. Thank God land cannot leave a country. Why do I say that? Otherwise, our farmers would be in other parts of the world. Thank God God has given us a climate so that we can produce the food, the product. At least we have sound capitalism there. But all the other manufacturing out of factories, unless it comes back into this country and we start becoming a producer of a nation instead of a user of a nation. And to be a producer of a nation is you produce more than you can use. And let the rest of the world become the users. Thank you. This is JD. Have a nice night. Remember, 2016. Now's the time to start thinking about JD. And do you think you can handle the job that's needed to make it happen? Thank you.